Commander Thexera stood on the bridge of the Cosmic Harmony, watching the stars through the main viewing screen, when Science Officer Quindar rushed to her side with data pad in hand. "Commander, we have detected an unknown vessel approaching our border system." Thexera turned her attention to the young officer who had served under her command for 3 cycles now and had never shown such excitement before. "Show me the readings." Quindar activated the holographic display and pointed to a small, blinking dot moving slowly through the outer edge of their territory. The vessel appears to be of primitive construction with basic metal hull composition and what seems to be chemical propulsion systems. Thexera studied the readings with growing confusion because the ship looked like something from the ancient times when civilizations first began exploring space. "Are you certain these readings are correct?" "Yes, Commander. I have run the scans multiple times and checked all our equipment, but the results remain the same." Fleet Admiral Nixel approached from his command station with his usual confident stride that had carried him through countless battles across the Veltari Empire. "What is this disturbance about?" Commander Thexera gestured toward the display while maintaining her professional composure despite her growing curiosity about this strange vessel. "We have detected what appears to be a primitive spacecraft entering our territory." Admiral Nixel examined the readings for several moments before dismissing them with a wave of his hand. Most likely debris from some old mining operation or perhaps a derelict vessel drifting through space. "But Admiral, the ship is maintaining a steady course and appears to be under active control." Nixel looked at Quindar with the patience of someone who had dealt with young officers for many years. "Science Officer, I have seen countless vessels cross our borders, and this one shows no signs of advanced technology or hostile intent." Thexera found herself agreeing with the Admiral's assessment because the vessel truly did appear harmless and technologically inferior to even their oldest patrol ships. However, something about the readings troubled her in a way she could not explain. The ship was moving too smoothly for something that appeared so primitive, and its course was too precise for a drifting derelict. "Continue monitoring the vessel, but do not waste resources on what is clearly not a threat." "Yes, Admiral," as Nixel returned to his duties. Quindar leaned closer to Thexera and lowered his voice. "Commander, there is something else about this vessel that I find disturbing." "What do you mean?" "I have been trying to get detailed scans of the ship, but our sensors seem to have difficulty maintaining a lock on it." Thexera frowned because their sensor technology was among the most advanced in known space and should easily penetrate any primitive shielding. "Explain." "The ship appears on our screens clearly enough, but when I attempt to scan its internal structure or energy systems, the readings become confused and unclear." "Show me." Quindar activated a more detailed sensor sweep and pointed to the readouts as they flickered and changed. "See how the energy signatures keep shifting, and the structural scans return inconsistent data." Thexera watched the display with growing unease as the readings indeed showed confusing and contradictory information. This makes no sense because a primitive vessel should be completely transparent to our scans. "Exactly, Commander. And there is something else." "What?" "The ship has been moving in our direction for the past 6 hours, but I only detected it 20 minutes ago." Thexera felt a chill run through her body as the implications of this statement became clear. "You mean it was in our space undetected for at least 5 hours and 40 minutes? "Yes." "How is that possible?" Quindar shook his head while studying the readings with obvious frustration. "I do not know, Commander, but our detection grid shows no record of the vessel until 20 minutes ago, despite the fact that its current position and speed indicate it has been traveling through our territory for much longer." Thexera called over Communications Officer Zephyra, who had been monitoring standard channels. "Have you detected any transmissions from the unknown vessel?" "No, Commander. The ship has maintained complete communication silence since we detected it." Thexera turned back to Quindar with a growing sense that this situation was more complex than it first appeared. "What is the vessel's heading?" "It appears to be moving directly toward our main patrol route." "Commander." Thexera felt her training kick in as she realized the strategic implications of an unknown vessel intercepting there. "Patrol patterns plot an intercept course and bring us to alert status." "Yellow, yes, Commander." "A's." The bridge crew began their preparations. Thexera found herself studying the mysterious vessel more carefully. The ship was larger than she had first realized, with a design unlike anything in the known databases. Its hull appeared to be made of simple metals, but the construction patterns were strange and unfamiliar. Admiral Nixel noticed the change in bridge activity and returned to observe their preparations, Commander. What is our status? We are moving to intercept the unknown vessel, Admiral. For what purpose? I believe this vessel may pose more of a concern than we initially thought. Nixel studied the display again with more attention than he had given it before. The ship still appears primitive and harmless to me. Commander, yes, Admiral. But it has been in our space undetected for hours and is moving directly toward our patrol routes. Nixel's expression changed as he considered the tactical implications. You believe this could be some form of reconnaissance. It is possible, Admiral. Very well, proceed with the intercept, but maintain caution. Thexra nodded and turned her attention back to the approaching vessel, while wondering what they were really dealing with. Quindar continued monitoring the strange readings from his station commander. The energy signatures are becoming even more confusing as we get closer. In what way? The ship appears to be generating almost no electromagnetic emissions, yet our gravitational sensors indicate significant mass and movement. Thexra had never encountered anything like this in her years of service. Could their technology be so different from ours that our sensors cannot interpret it properly? That is one possibility, Commander, but I am beginning to suspect something else. What I think this vessel is deliberately masking its true capabilities. The thought sent another chill through Thexra as she realized they might be approaching something far more dangerous than a primitive spacecraft. If you are correct, then we are dealing with technology advanced enough to fool our best sensors. Yes, Commander, and that would mean this civilization is far more developed than they want us to believe. Thexra looked at the approaching vessel, with new eyes wondering what secrets it might be hiding beneath its simple appearance. Time to intercept. 12 minutes. Commander, prepare all scanning equipment and have security teams stand ready. Yes, Commander. As the cosmic harmony moved closer to the mysterious vessel, Thexra could not shake the feeling that this encounter would change everything they thought they knew about the galaxy and their place in it. The cosmic harmony reached optimal communication range with the unknown vessel, and Thexra ordered her communications officer to begin standard first contact procedures. Zephyra activated the universal broadcasting system and began transmitting the mathematical sequences that had served as peaceful introduction protocols for over 200 years. We are broadcasting prime number sequences followed by basic mathematical concepts. Commander Good, continue with the standard pattern. Zephyra transmitted the carefully designed messages that represented peaceful intentions across all known frequencies, while Quindar monitored for any response. Commander, I am detecting a response from the vessel. Put it through the main speakers. What came through the bridge speakers made every member of the crew freeze in stunned silence. Greetings to the honored crew of the Veltari vessel, Cosmic Harmony. The voice spoke in perfect high Veltari, with flawless pronunciation and proper formal intonations. Acknowledge your peaceful mathematical transmissions and appreciate the elegance of your approach to first contact. Thexra felt her world shift as she realized this unknown species not only knew their language, but was speaking it better than many Veltari citizens. How do they know our language and our ship designation? The voice continued with what sounded like genuine warmth. I am Communications Officer Yoon Ji Woo, aboard the human vessel, Soul's Pride. We have been observing your formation patterns for the past 3 cycles and must complement your tactical discipline. Admiral Nixel rushed to the communication station with an expression of complete bewilderment. They have been watching us for 3 cycles. The human voice responded, as if she had heard his comment. Admiral Nixel, your surprise is understandable, but we have found that observation periods allow for better cultural understanding before direct contact. They know who I am. Yes, Admiral, we have identified all senior officers aboard your vessel through standard observation protocols. Thexra felt a cold realization wash over her as she understood the implications. If they have been observing us undetected for 3 cycles, then their technology is far beyond anything we possess. The human continued speaking with casual confidence that suggested this was routine for them. We request permission to establish direct communication protocols and hope to arrange a peaceful meeting between our peoples. Zephyra looked at Thexra with confusion written across his features. Commander, what should I tell them? Ask them how they learned our language. The response came immediately as if the human had anticipated the question. Officer, Zephyra, your language is quite beautiful, and we have had ample time to study its various dialects and historical forms. We are particularly impressed by the poetic structures found in your ancient ceremonial texts. Quindar leaned toward Thexra and whispered, urgently, Commander, they know languages that have been extinct for centuries. The human voice addressed Quindar directly. Science Officer Quindar, your curiosity about our linguistic knowledge is noted, and we would be happy to discuss comparative language evolution during our meeting. How do they keep knowing who is speaking? Admiral Nixel stepped forward and spoke directly. Human vessel, this is Fleet. Admiral Nixel of the Veltari Imperial Navy, we demand to know how you have acquired such detailed knowledge of our people and our language. The response came with respectful formality that acknowledged his rank perfectly. Fleet Admiral Nixel, we understand your concerns, and they are completely justified. We have spent considerable time studying Veltari culture because we believe that understanding leads to better cooperation between species. Captain Lee Tae-min sends his compliments and requests permission to approach for formal diplomatic contact. Thexra found herself speaking before she realized it. Captain Lee Tae-min, you claim to have been studying us, but we have no record of any previous contact with your species. The response revealed something that shook her to her core. Commander Thexra, that is correct because we prefer to understand a civilization. Before revealing ourselves, we have found that premature contact can lead to misunderstandings and cultural conflicts. Your people show great wisdom in your approaches to exploration, and we wish to learn from you. Admiral Nixel looked at his officers. With growing alarm, they speak as if they are the advanced civilization, and we are the ones being studied. Communications Officer Yoon Ji-woo continued with the same calm professionalism. Admiral, we mean no disrespect, but we have observed that your people value honor and careful consideration in all dealings. We wish to follow your own protocols for diplomatic contact. What protocols? The protocols established in the Veltari Diplomatic Charter Section 12, subsection 4, which outlines proper procedures for peaceful species interaction. Zephyra turned to Thexra with wide eyes. Commander, that section of the charter deals with how we should behave when meeting primitive species. The human voice responded. Gently, Officer Zephyra, we understand the irony of the situation, but we believe your charter shows wisdom regardless of who is following it. Captain Lee Tae-min suggests we follow standard docking procedures as outlined in your military handbook section 97. Quindar checked his datapad frantically. That section describes how to receive diplomatic vessels from advanced civilizations. The human continued without any trace of mockery or superiority. We believe mutual respect is the foundation of all successful interspecies relationships. May we approach your vessel using the docking procedures you have established? Admiral Nixel struggled to maintain his composure. How do you know our military procedures? Captain Lee Tae-min has extensive experience with diplomatic contact and believes in following established protocols. We have found that respecting local customs prevents misunderstandings. Thexra realized they were dealing with something completely beyond their experience. Grant them permission to approach but maintain full alert status. Yes, Commander Communications Officer Yoon Ji-woo acknowledged their permission with perfect diplomatic courtesy. Thank you, Commander. Thexra, we will approach using standard Veltari docking procedures. Our ship will maintain all safety protocols as outlined in your regulations. Captain Lee Tae-min looks forward to meeting with your senior officers. As the communication ended, the bridge fell into stunned silence. Admiral Nixel was the first to speak. How is it possible that a species we have never encountered knows more about our procedures than most of our own officers? Quindar looked up from his readings with growing amazement. Commander, their ship is approaching using perfect formation flying techniques that follow our military academy textbook exactly. Thexra watched the human vessel maneuver with precision that matched their best pilots. What kind of civilization studies another species so thoroughly before making contact? The type that has resources and patience beyond anything we have imagined. Zephyra monitored the approaching vessel commander. They are requesting specific docking bay assignments and asking about atmospheric requirements for their delegation. Tell them we will accommodate whatever they need. The human response came quickly. Thank you, Commander. We can adapt to your standard atmospheric conditions. Dr. Choi Sung-ho. Our medical officer suggests a brief health compatibility check to ensure safe interaction. They even know our medical protocols, Admiral. Nixel stared at the approaching vessel. Whatever these humans are, they are far more advanced than anything we have encountered, and they have been watching us like we watch primitive species. Thexra felt a fundamental shift in her understanding of the galaxy. We thought we were one of the advanced civilizations, but now I suspect we are the ones being studied. The human vessel continued its perfect approach while the crew of the Cosmic Harmony struggled to understand how their entire worldview had changed in a matter of minutes. The human vessel, Soul's Pride, completed its docking procedures with precision that impressed even the most experienced Veltari officers, and Thexra led a delegation to the docking bay to meet their unexpected guests. Chief Engineer Zeftor accompanied them with his scanning equipment because Admiral Nixel wanted detailed analysis of the human technology. The airlock opened with a soft hiss, and Captain Lee Tae-min stepped through, followed by several officers who looked remarkably similar to humanoid species they had encountered before. Captain Lee Tae-min was tall with dark hair and eyes that seemed to take in everything around him with quiet intelligence. "Welcome aboard the Cosmic Harmony, Captain. I am Commander Thexra." Captain Lee Tae-min bowed in the traditional Veltari greeting style with perfect form. "The honor is ours, Commander Thexra, and we appreciate your willingness to meet with unknown visitors." Behind him stood Dr. Choi Sung-ho, a woman with kind eyes, who carried what appeared to be Medical Equipment Communications Officer Yoon Ji-woo, who had spoken with them earlier, was younger than Thexra had expected, with a confident manner that suggested extensive experience. The fourth member of their group was Tactical Officer An Byung-woo, whose relaxed posture somehow conveyed both competence and alertness. "Commander Thexra, we hope our presence does not cause undue disruption to your patrol duties. Captain, your arrival has certainly been unexpected, but we welcome the opportunity for cultural exchange." Chief Engineer Zeftor stepped forward with barely concealed curiosity. "Captain Lee Tae-min, might we examine your vessel to better understand your technology?" The human captain smiled warmly. "Of course, Engineer Zeftor. We believe that technological sharing benefits all species." Dr. Choi Sung-ho spoke for the first time with a voice that carried obvious intelligence. "We have brought some basic medical information that might interest your medical staff, Commander Thexra. Has your species encountered diseases similar to what we call Veltari cellular degradation syndrome?" Thexra felt surprise because VCDS was considered incurable and affected nearly 10% of their population. "You know about our medical conditions." Dr. Choi Sung-ho nodded sympathetically. "We have observed the effects and believe we might have treatment options that could help. Your medical technology can treat VCDS." The human doctor looked genuinely puzzled by their reaction. "VCDS appears to be caused by genetic markers that respond well to targeted therapy. We have developed treatments for similar conditions in other species." Other species? Dr. Choi Seong-ho realized she had said something significant. "Yes, we have encountered cellular degradation syndromes in several civilizations and found effective treatments." Captain Lee Tae-min gestured toward their ship engineer, Zeftor. "Please feel free to examine our vessel. We have nothing to hide and welcome your scientific curiosity." Zeftor led a team of engineers aboard the Soul's Pride, while Thexra continued speaking with the human delegation. What struck her immediately was how comfortable the humans seemed with sharing their technology. Most species guarded their technological secrets carefully, but these humans acted as if sharing was natural. "Captain, your willingness to allow examination of your vessel is unusual." Captain Lee Tae-min considered her comment carefully. "Commander, we have found that technological cooperation leads to better relationships between species. Hiding our capabilities would serve no useful purpose." Tactical Officer An Byung-woo spoke quietly. "If I may ask, Commander, what defensive systems does your ship employ?" Thexra described their standard energy shields and projectile defense systems. An Byung-woo nodded respectfully. "Your systems show excellent engineering, though we use somewhat different approaches. What approaches? We focus more on evasion and point defense, rather than heavy shielding. Our defensive systems calculate projectile trajectories and intercept them directly." Thexra had heard of such systems, but they required impossible computational speeds. "How do you calculate fast enough to intercept relativistic projectiles?" An Byung-woo looked surprised by the question. "Commander, do your systems not use predictive calculation matrices?" "No, our computers cannot process that much data." quickly enough. The human tactical officer exchanged glances with his captain. Captain, perhaps we should demonstrate our defensive capabilities. Captain Lee Taemin agreed, and they moved to the Soul's Pride, where An Byung-woo activated a display screen. This shows our basic point defense system, tracking multiple high-speed objects simultaneously. Screen showed dozens of incoming projectiles being tracked and intercepted with perfect accuracy. Your computers can process all that information instantly. An Byung-woo seemed confused by their amazement. Commander, this is standard defensive technology. Most species we encounter use similar systems. Engineer Zeftor returned from his examination of the human ship with an expression of complete bewilderment. Commander, I need to speak with you privately. They moved to a quiet corner where Zeftor could share his findings. The human ship is impossible. What do you mean? The hull appears to be made of simple metals, but when I scanned it closely, I found materials that should not exist. Explain. The molecular structure contains elements not found in our periodic table arranged in configurations that our physics says cannot be stable. Yet clearly they are stable. Yes, Commander, and there is more. The propulsion system uses principles I do not understand. They claim to fold space-time rather than using hyperspace tunnels. Space-time engineer Kim Ho-seok explained that they treat space like flexible material that can be bent and shaped. He said, "What takes us days to travel, they can cross in hours." Thexra felt another fundamental shift in her understanding. Their technology is not just different. It is operating on completely different scientific principles. Dr. Choi Seong-ho approached them with her medical information. Commander, I have prepared treatment protocols for VCDS that your medical staff might find interesting. She handed Thexra a data pad containing information that made no sense. Doctor, these treatments use compounds we have never seen before. Dr. Choi Seong-ho looked concerned. Commander, do your people not use cellular regeneration therapy? We do not have that technology. The human doctor seemed genuinely surprised. Commander, cellular regeneration is basic medical technology. Most civilizations develop it within a few hundred years of space travel. Captain Lee Taemin joined their conversation. Commander Thexra, is there something wrong? Your medical officer speaks of technologies we consider impossible. Captain Lee Taemin looked thoughtful. Commander, perhaps our civilizations have developed along different paths. We have encountered species with various technological focuses, but cellular regeneration is basic medicine. The captain exchanged glances with his medical officer, Dr. Choi Seong-ho. Perhaps we should share our basic medical database. Commander, would your medical staff be interested in reviewing our standard treatments? Thexra realized they were offering medical knowledge that could revolutionize Veltari healthcare. Yes, doctor, we would be very interested. Engineer Kim Ho-seok emerged from the engineering section with Chief Engineer Zeftor, Commander. Your engineer has interesting questions about our space-time manipulation systems. Kim Ho-seok spoke with enthusiasm that suggested he enjoyed technical discussions. Engineer Zeftor, your hyperspace tunnel technology shows impressive engineering, though I am curious why you use such complex methods when space-time folding is simpler. Zeftor stared at the human engineer. You consider space-time manipulation simpler than hyperspace tunnels. Kim Ho-seok nodded as, if this was obvious, hyperspace requires tremendous energy to create stable tunnels. Space-time folding uses natural properties of the universe with much less power. Commander Thexra began to understand that they were dealing with a civilization so advanced that their technology appeared primitive because it was elegantly simple. Captain Lee Taemin, how many species have you encountered with technology similar to yours? The human captain considered the question carefully. Commander, most species we meet are developing similar technologies, though each civilization finds unique approaches to common problems. Thexra realized with growing awe that humans considered advanced technology normal and expected other species to have similar capabilities. Captain Lee Taemin suggested they move to the main conference room aboard the Cosmic Harmony, where they could share information more comfortably, and Thexra agreed while still trying to process everything she had learned about human technology. Admiral Nixel joined them with his senior staff, and the humans settled around the conference table with the ease of experienced diplomats. Captain Lee Taemin, We are curious about your civilization and how you developed such advanced technology. The human captain smiled warmly and activated a small device that projected a three-dimensional star map above the table. Commander, this shows our local region of space where we conduct most of our survey operations. Thexera looked at the map and felt her understanding of the universe shift once again. The map showed not just star systems, but detailed notations about trade routes, traffic patterns, and what appeared to be established territories. Captain, this map covers the entire known galaxy, Captain. Lee Tae-min looked puzzled by her reaction. Commander, this map shows only our immediate neighborhood. Our standard survey ships, like the Soul's Pride, operate within this region. Lieutenant Park Da-yoon, who had been quietly observing, spoke for the first time. Captain, perhaps we should show them the extended navigation charts. She activated another display that expanded the previous map to show multiple galaxies with similar detailed notations. Commander Thexera, this shows our normal operating area. For routine exploration missions, Admiral Nixel stared at the display with growing comprehension. You are saying this ship operates across multiple galaxies, Lieutenant Park? Da-yoon nodded as if this was perfectly normal. Yes. Admiral, the Soul's Pride is classified as a small survey vessel for local area reconnaissance. We typically handle first contact situations and cultural assessment missions. Quindar leaned forward with scientific curiosity overcoming his shock. Lieutenant, what do you consider? Long-range exploration. Park Da-yoon adjusted the display to show an even larger scale map. Our long-range exploration vessels operate in sectors like these. The new map showed dozens of galaxies with notation systems that implied regular traffic and established routes. Science officer, this represents our current expansion frontier. Most of these regions contain developing civilizations that we monitor and occasionally contact. Thexera felt dizzy as she realized the implications. The entire known universe, as understood by the Veltari Empire, was merely a small section of what humans considered local space. Captain Lee Tae-min noticed their reactions and spoke gently. Commander, I hope this information is not overwhelming. We sometimes forget that different species have different scales of operation. Admiral Nixel found his voice despite his shock. Captain, are you saying that what we consider the entire universe is just one small area to your people? The human captain considered his words carefully. Admiral, your empire covers an impressive region of space and shows excellent organizational skills. We simply operate on a somewhat larger scale. Dr. Choi Sung-ho activated another display showing what appeared to be medical data. Commander, we have treatment databases from our encounters with hundreds of different species. Many of them have faced challenges similar to what your people experience. Hundreds of species. The human doctor nodded. Matter-of-factly, yes, Commander, we maintain medical cooperation agreements with most civilizations in this galaxy cluster. Some species have remarkable natural healing abilities, while others have developed fascinating technological solutions. She showed them records of species that the Veltari had considered mythically advanced. Dr. Song Mi-young, our xenoanthropologist, has compiled cultural studies from most of our contact situations. Would you like to see recordings of some of our first contact experiences? Commander Thexera felt compelled to see these recordings despite knowing they would further challenge her world view. The display showed humans meeting with species that the Veltari considered the most advanced civilizations in existence. In each recording, the humans treated these legendary species as equals, offering technological assistance and cultural exchange. Captain, that species in the recording is the Ethereal Collective. We considered them the most advanced civilization in known space. Captain Lee Tae-min looked at the recording with obvious fondness. Yes, the Ethereals are fascinating people with remarkable achievements in energy manipulation. They have taught us much about harmonic resonance technologies. They taught you. The human captain nodded enthusiastically. Commander, we have learned something valuable from every species we have encountered. The Ethereals shared their energy techniques while we helped them develop better space-time navigation systems. Admiral Nixel struggled to understand what he was hearing. Captain, you speak as if you provide assistance to civilizations we consider impossibly advanced. Captain Lee Tae-min looked thoughtful. Admiral, every civilization has unique strengths and capabilities. We find that cooperation benefits everyone involved. Dr. Song Mi-young activated another series of recordings. Commander, these show our cultural exchange programs with various species. The recordings showed humans working alongside dozens of different civilizations, sharing technology and knowledge freely. Quindar studied the data with growing amazement. Dr. Song-Mi Young, your people have established relationships with every advanced species we know about, plus many more that we have never encountered. The human xenoanthropologist smiled warmly. Science officer, we believe that diversity strengthens all civilizations. Each species contributes unique perspectives and capabilities. Lieutenant Park Daeun showed them navigation records. Commander, these charts show standard shipping routes between various civilizations. Your empire sits along several important cultural exchange pathways. The navigation charts revealed that major trade routes passed near Veltari space, connecting civilizations across multiple galaxies. We had no idea these routes existed. Lieutenant Park Daeun looked surprised. Commander, do your people not participate in intergalactic commerce? We thought our empire was isolated in this region of space. Engineer Kim Ho-seok spoke up with technical enthusiasm. Commander, your space-time manipulation skills could contribute greatly to improved navigation systems. Your empire could become an important hub for cultural and technological exchange. Thexra realized that humans saw the Veltari Empire not as a powerful civilization, but as a developing culture with potential. Captain Lee Tae-min, what is the true extent of human civilization? The human captain exchanged glances with his officers before answering carefully. Commander, humans work with many species across numerous galaxy clusters. We focus on cooperation rather than territorial expansion. Our strength comes from the relationships we build with other civilizations. Admiral Nixel asked the question that everyone was thinking. Captain, are humans the most advanced species in the universe? Captain Lee Tae-min considered the question seriously. Admiral, we have encountered species with capabilities that exceed ours in many areas. What makes humans distinctive is our approach to cooperation and cultural development. We believe that lifting up other civilizations ultimately benefits everyone. Dr. Choi Sung-ho added her perspective. Commander, humans have learned that isolated civilizations eventually stagnate. Diversity and cooperation drive innovation and growth. Thexra understood that they were being offered something unprecedented. Captain, are you inviting us to join this galactic cooperation? Captain Lee Tae-min smiled warmly. Commander, that decision belongs to your people. But we would welcome the Veltari Empire as partners in building a better universe. The invitation hung in the air as the Veltari officers realized their entire understanding of their place in the universe had been fundamentally changed. They were not alone in space, and they were not primitive. They were simply ready to join something much larger than they had ever imagined possible. The conference room fell silent as the weight of Captain Lee Tae-min's invitation settled over the Veltari officers, and Thexra found herself struggling to comprehend the magnitude of what was being offered to her people. Admiral Nixel was the first to speak, and his voice carried both hope and uncertainty. Captain, what would joining this galactic cooperation mean for the Veltari Empire? Captain Lee Tae-min leaned forward with the patient manner of someone who had conducted many such conversations. Admiral, cooperation means sharing knowledge, technology, and cultural experiences for mutual benefit. Each species contributes their unique strengths while learning from others. Dr. Choi Seung-ho activated her medical display again. Commander, with your permission, I would like to demonstrate some basic medical technologies that could help your people immediately. The human doctor showed them a device that appeared deceptively simple. This is a cellular regeneration field generator that can treat VCDS and similar conditions. Thexra stared at the device with growing amazement. Doctor, that small device can cure our most persistent medical problem. Dr. Choi Sung-ho nodded with obvious satisfaction. Commander, the device works by encouraging natural cellular repair. Processes treatment typically takes a few hours and has no negative side effects. Admiral Nixel looked at the medical device with wonder. How many of our people could this technology help? The human doctor consulted her datapad. Admiral, based on our observations, approximately 800,000 Veltari citizens could benefit from immediate treatment. We have manufacturing techniques that could produce enough devices for your entire population within a few months. Quindar felt compelled to ask the obvious question. Dr. Choi Sung-ho, what do you want in exchange for this medical technology? The human doctor looked puzzled by the question. Science officer, we want nothing in exchange. Helping people is its own reward. Captain Lee Tae-min, added his perspective officer Quinn Dar. We have learned that healthy civilizations contribute more to overall galactic development. Helping your people helps everyone. Engineer Kim Ho-seok activated his own display, showing energy generation systems. Commander, your empire faces power shortages in several sectors. These fusion generators could provide clean, unlimited energy for your entire civilization. The human engineer showed them technology that could solve their energy crisis permanently. Engineer, how long would it take to implement these systems? Kim Ho-seok considered the question carefully. Commander, with your engineers working alongside ours, we could have basic systems operational within 6 months. Complete planetary power grids would take, perhaps 2 years. Thexera felt overwhelmed by the generosity being offered. Captain, why are you sharing such valuable technology so freely? Captain Lee Tae-min smiled with genuine warmth. Commander, advanced technology becomes more valuable when it is shared. Isolated civilizations cannot reach their full potential. Lieutenant Park Da-yoon showed them terraforming displays. Commander, our terraforming technology could restore your homeworld's damaged ecosystems. The dying regions could become garden paradises within months. Admiral Nixel stared at images of transformed worlds that looked like paradise. Lieutenant, our homeworld has been slowly dying for centuries. You can reverse that damage, Park? Daeun nodded confidently. Admiral, we have restored hundreds of worlds using these techniques. Your planet shows excellent potential for complete ecosystem recovery. Dr. Song Mi-young presented cultural information. Commander, joining the galactic cooperation would give your people access to universities and cultural centers across multiple galaxies. Your children could study with the greatest minds in the universe. Thexera imagined young Veltari learning alongside species they had considered mythical. Dr. Song Mi-young, what would our people contribute to this cooperation? The human xenoanthropologist consulted her notes. Commander, the Veltari show exceptional organizational skills and cultural stability. Your diplomatic traditions could help resolve conflicts between other species. Your artistic achievements would enrich galactic cultural development. Captain Lee Tae-min added his assessment. Commander, every species brings unique value to our cooperative. The Veltari Empire has strengths that would benefit many civilizations, Quindar asked. About the scientific implications, Captain, would our scientists have access to advanced research facilities? The human captain nodded enthusiastically. Science officer, our research centers welcome scientists from all member civilizations. You would have access to laboratories and libraries spanning multiple galaxies. The collaborative research opportunities would accelerate your scientific development by centuries. Admiral Nixel struggled with the implications of such rapid advancement. Captain, this offer seems too generous to be real. What are the obligations of membership? Captain Lee Tae-min considered the question. Seriously, Admiral membership requires only peaceful cooperation and willingness to help other developing civilizations. We ask that you share knowledge and assist species who are where you are. Now, Engineer Kim Ho-seok explained the practical aspects. Admiral, most civilizations find that helping others accelerates their own development. Teaching requires deep understanding that drives innovation. Dr. Choi Sung-ho added her medical perspective. Commander, by treating diseases in other species, we often discover new approaches that benefit everyone. Medical cooperation has led to breakthrough treatments for conditions we thought incurable. Thexera realized that humans had created a system where helping others benefited the helper captain. This cooperation seems to be designed to encourage growth rather than dependence. Captain Lee Tae-min smiled approvingly. Commander, you understand the fundamental principle. We believe that independent, strong civilizations make better partners than dependent, weak ones. Lieutenant Park Da-yoon showed them images of cooperative worlds. Commander, these planets host mixed populations from dozens of species. Cultural exchange drives innovation and understanding. The images showed cities where multiple alien species worked and lived together in obvious harmony. Admiral Nixel made the decision that would change Veltari history. Captain Lee Tae-min, on behalf of the Veltari Empire, I formally request membership in your galactic cooperation. The human captain stood and bowed in the traditional Veltari acceptance gesture. Admiral Nixel, we are honored to welcome the Veltari Empire as our partners. Dr. Choi Sung-ho immediately began planning medical assistance. Commander, We can begin. VCDS treatments within days. Our medical ships can provide immediate assistance while we establish permanent facilities. Engineer Kim Ho-seok started discussing infrastructure. Development Admiral, our engineering teams can begin energy system surveys immediately. The fusion generators will solve your power crisis within months. Science Officer Quinn Dar found himself asking about the future. Captain, what happens now? Captain. Lee Taemin gestured toward the star map still displayed above the table. Science Officer. Now your people join the greatest adventure in galactic history. You will help us explore new regions, contact developing civilizations, and build a universe where all species can thrive. Thexra looked at the vast displays showing the true scale of galactic civilization. Commander, your people will never be alone again. You are part of something magnificent that spans galaxies and includes countless civilizations. As the meeting concluded, Thexra realized that this day marked the end of Veltari isolation and the beginning of their true golden age. Science Officer Quinn Dar made his final log entry about the encounter. Today we discovered that we are not alone in the universe, and more importantly, we discovered that we are not abandoned. The humans did not arrive as conquerors or gods, but as gardeners tending to a galaxy full of growing civilizations. We thought we were encountering aliens, but instead we met our future. The Veltari Empire would never be the same, and that was exactly what they needed.